Hello, got my ADM kit today, so that means tonight I'll be working on putting it together, and once I have this put together, I'll be able to position it over here and get a better idea of exactly where I want to put the siding, how far away from the wall to put the siding, because I'll put the silos here and then the shed for the cars, and I'll be able to get an idea of where I'm going to draw my center line and put my track. So after I get that assembled, the grain elevator together, I'll go ahead and start putting the road bed underneath here and sand it down and start laying some track. Alright, got my weapon of choice, X-Acto knife with new blade, and if you're doing stuff like this, assembling kits, always use a brand new blade to cut the parts out and cut all the sprue off of your parts. And I've got my plastic welder and a brush, but first I'm gonna go and cut out a whole bunch of parts. I'm going to put the windows on, the doors on the main building, and get all the windows cut out and put that together first. So again, if this is something you're doing for the first time, I go over some of the things I do in my video on kit building a N-scale hopper car. So I probably won't go into as much depth as I did with that. I'll probably show you just highlights of what I'm doing, so as not to make this too incredibly long. So you have a sharp knife, the parts come out easy. Easy, quick. I still have to do some cleanup, but that's the key, is to always use a sharp knife. And as you're doing your work, if you sense the knife isn't cutting quite as well, having to apply more pressure, a bit too much pressure, then it means it's probably too dull to really use anymore, so you should replace it. You shouldn't throw it out, because it's still probably sharp enough to do other cutting work, other cutting jobs that you have. But so you'll want to keep some kind of bin available for these blades, because they're not sharp enough to do modeling work like this, but they're still useful. So don't throw stuff like that out. Right? Me go ahead, as you can see here, this stuff here, this sprue, you need to cut that off. One technique I found helpful for removing the sprue, the plastic, from your parts is that, if you're feeling a little bit jittery about, holding the knife and trying to cut something off, one easy way, especially it works really well on straight sections of your model, is to take the bottom edge of your blade, rest it up against the part you want to remove this little sprue from, and just pivot down like that. So basically you're letting the edge of your part there guide your blade as you go down. So you pivot down. So just pretend this is your table you're working on, and this is the blade. So let me show you. Rest the edge down there, butt this up against the part, and just pivot. And if your blade is sharp, the sprue will come off real easy, nice and clean. So that's one thing I found kind of helpful. Alright, I think I've got these cleaned up well enough. I think there's one more. Okay, here we go. Here's another part there. I think we're good to go. And good to go to cut out more windows and start gluing them on. Now that I've got the doors cut out, I'm going to go ahead and pre-paint them. And this makes sense, at least it makes sense to me in this situation, because it'll be a lot easier to pre-paint them now and then glue them in than trying to do this after the fact, than trying to get a paintbrush in there and get paint on the edge of the model. So I'll go pre-paint them and then glue them in. So if there's any parts that you need to glue in from the inside and you want to paint them a certain color, it's better to, at least it makes sense to me, better to paint them first and then glue them onto the back, so you don't have to mess around with basically messing up your model. So I do that. I'll give it a nice Burlington Northern green. Okay, now I've gotten these excuse me, these doors painted. Nice Burlington Northern green. I'm going to glue the little glass piece onto the back there. And for these parts that are going to be glued on from behind, I'm not going to really mess with cleaning off this extra plastic, the sprue on there, so it's going to be hidden. I'll just lay this down, lay it down flat, and just give it a little touch with the plastic welder. Let me take my tweezers and just kind of position this. I'll position this with my finger first, try to, and move this with my tweezers like that until it's centered. I'm just going to rest it on top just to pin it down so it doesn't move around while I put the plastic weld on there, and just do a little around the edges, and that should be enough. This weld glue will seep underneath, and it's doing that nicely. Just like that. So it should weld the window on. And it's not going anywhere. Okay. I'll get the rest of these done. And I'll finish putting the windows here and put the two doors there on this piece, and I'll be done with that section. Well, I think that's it for the night.